You want more pace on the serve, and you only want to work on one very specific thing. Then stay tuned, because in this video I'm going to show you the one and only thing that at the end of the day determines how fast you can serve and how you can work on it. When I ask players who want more pop on their serve what they think they need to work on, I usually get one answer. I need more knee bend and I need to jump. And the reason they say that is because either it's what they saw the top players do on TV, or it's actually what their coaches tell them to do. But what the wrong thing about the knee bend is that you can bend too much. And that is usually what these players are trying to do. They're bending as low as they possibly can, but since they're not a Pete Sampras or a Ben Shelton, they actually hurt their serve more than they help it with that knee bend. If you're not strong enough and explosive enough to immediately, violently launch yourself up again, you are actually spending way too much energy, strength, and time as well down there, and that costs you velocity. So if we're looking at one of the best servers right now, Ben Shelton, let's look at how, literally, violently, he explodes up. And when you're only talking about a really deep knee bend, you're neglecting the most important piece of the serve, the piece that actually determines how fast you can serve. You're neglecting the coil, because what determines how fast you can serve is not the arm, it's not the knees, it's how fast you can come from your lowest position of the hips to the highest position of the hips. And that is called vertical hip displacement. Instead of just focusing on bending your knees as deep as possible, focus on loading down and back, coiling your hips down and back. I hate to break it to you, but you're probably not getting as insane of a coil as Pete Sampras, for instance, whose chest basically turned backwards to the camera right now. And that allowed him to coil his hips in an almost unimitable, I think that's a word, fashion. So do work with what your body allows you to do. And if you can come from a neutral position to about 10, 15 degrees in that coil, that already would be fantastic. Remember that the objective is to get from the lowest point of my hip curl here to the highest point of my hip. So I'm trying to launch myself up and forward so that ideally I land inside the court. So the trajectory of my body moving is up and slightly forward. I'm not trying to launch myself forward. So the way that I want to work on this lowest part of the coil to the highest part of the coil is with a very specific drill. Remember Boris Becker, he of the, yes, insane knee bend, but also double hip replacement, and also absolute fantastic coil. He could do this drill by reaching down and back. I can't do that drill this way because I don't have the mobility to coil as much, nor did I ever have the strength, to be perfectly honest, to reach down here and then accelerate up in an explosive fashion. So I'm working with the limitations that my body has these days. So for me to really feel how to coil just 10 to 15 degrees, I'm going to place the ball slightly lower. This is the deepest I feel I can hold, and then immediately explode up and out, working on this here. And this here I feel is the maximum turn I can get. Don't know if it's 10, 15 degrees, but it's definitely better than just doing this, where I focus on just pushing my knees forward over my toes. Terrible coaching cue, I recently heard, and getting a lower bend in my knees. From this point out, I'm reaching the ball here, and then I throw the ball up and out, trying to stay side on as long as possible and trying to really accelerate that hip from down here to up here. And remember, our objective was to launch ourselves, to propel ourselves, whatever you want to call it, as fast as possible, up and out. And as Newton's third law of motion, I believe it's the third one, states, is that for every action, there's a reaction of the opposite and equal force. So my action is this, the down and back. My reaction is what I'm trying to accomplish. It's this. And this is where I get power on the serve. And I'm also trying to stay side on, meaning my chest, my belly button faces the side here as long as possible, because I want to really just work on, I guess, displacing my hip from down here to the highest point. I'm not looking to do this. That's the last I want to do, but that's a whole different video. If you're like me and you need to feel a new movement in a slower way first before you actually try to do it at real speed, this is a great drill. So if you have a resistance band like this here, just put it behind your back leg. And again, you're trying to load down and back. And now you're trying to get from this shoulder over shoulder position, my front shoulder, for me the left, over my right shoulder, my hitting arm shoulder, to get into this position, the reverse shoulder over shoulder. Now my hitting shoulder is higher than my tossing arm shoulder. And this is a great way for me to feel that I'm actually really engaging my hip. And it's also really helping me feel what I did wrong my entire career, and that was to rotate open way too much. I'm not talking about adding any speed to my serve. I'm talking about loading correctly so that my body can work in a way that it was designed to do, and I don't fight my body, which is what caused me shoulder issues my entire career, because I followed the wrong coaching cue. And that coaching cue I will dismantle in one of the next videos. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel. You will get the notification when it's out. That serve I can do all day long without my shoulder hurting. I'm super happy about that.